So, okay, we're in there. So I put my admin. If I remember the password, we should be in a bit. If I don't, we'll have to play with it. Maybe reset it from the back end. Voila, we're in. So what we're doing today, we're going to do vulnerability assessment, and I will show you guys the ones we did in the past. And before an organization stands up their SOC environment, they have done all these things, and they realize with the SOC environment, they don't have to be worried about doing this every time. They just have a SOC team that maintains, remediate issues, remove the problem. Someone want to ask a question and mitigate the vulnerabilities. Someone want to ask a question? Go ahead.
No, I was raising down my hand. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Now, remember when we studied the Security Plus, we had when we read to the point, the first chapter, managing risk. We define what risk is. Risk is that possibility that what? That a threat agent will do what? Will exploit a vulnerability, a vulnerability and cause harm or damage. Cause damage or what? To an organization's asset. Cause disruption or damage. Either a harm or damage to organization's asset. It could be intentional or unintentional. Correct? Yes. You guys remember that? Okay, fine.
Yes.
So even when an organization recognizes the risk that's at stake, they have a choice to transfer the risk, accept the risk, avoid the risk, and ignore the risk. But most organizations, because of the compliance and the standards that are in place, which requires them to implement certain things so that they can remain secure, because when they are secure, other organizations around them will also continue to be secure. The government have libraries based on the country, nation, state have developed the system, just like I explained to you, the CIS version 8, which is the Center of Internet Security version 8, they have their safeguards. 18 safeguards, number 17 is incident response. That tells you the importance of it. Even when you look at Security Plus, 28% of 701 exam is incident response, security operations to be precise. And then when you triangulate that to CSF, Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, you recognize too that there are also controls that Cybersecurity 2.0 has, which some of you guys have learned before. Brian have learned that. When you look at it, there are 8 domains. These are controls. These are questions you ask your organization to know the posture of your organization, and et cetera, et cetera. Those are what we call qualitative. But now we're going to deal with quantitative. The quantitative will allow your organization to see how honest it is in answering those questions that arises from the safeguards and the controls that are needed for you to remain secure. So to start off with, we're going to go to my scans. Okay, we go to my scans. This is Nexus, Tenable Scanner. So we're going to go to my scan. These are the scans that we've done before. And I will also try to identify here. I'm trying to identify the information for this IP, for this server. You have the IP address, which is, this is the private IP here for this subnet, and this is the public. You can scan using this because we're in a local machine. And you can also scan using this because we're also in the internet, but it's going to go out and come back to do the job. And you can also scan using localhost. So let's go and show you the scan that we did before using, I think we used the IP address for this scan. As you can see, we use the IP address for this scan. And here we got majority of the vulnerabilities that we got is what you're looking at right now. See, These are vulnerabilities that we got. You're looking at it right now. We were pretty much scanning one of our assets to see the problems that it has so you guys can start fixing it. Now, when you look at the vulnerabilities, there's 13 of them, but you can also configure how you want it to, you know, if you want to advance and do more stuff, like add more IP addresses or add more range, like you can put something like this and make it a range, okay, and so on and so forth. You can put other local hosts and etc that you have that lives here in this subnet, because private IP is not routable, so you can't go somewhere else. If you have something in a different place and you want to put the private IP for it, it's not routable. It's not going to go through the broadcast domain. It's going to be shut. Now, again, these are some of the settings that we have. The basic settings is here. So you have the general. These are all the information that I've included. You can schedule the scan. You can also have a notification sent through an email for you, but you have to configure the SMT server here. Now, there's also recover, scan all ports, custom ports, all of that. So yeah, it defines what general settings are: port scan, scanner settings, scan common port, use net start if credentials are provided, use SYN scanner if necessary, ping hosts using TCP, app, ICMP, and all of that. Again, the report is here. You can pull a report. You can tell it how to give you the report. Override normal verbosity, meaning you don't want it to write too much stuff. And you can say allow users to edit scan results. So when the scan is done, you can edit it and make it look like what you want. You can make it look like any kind of report that you want. Okay, you can designate hosts by their DNS name, meaning instead of using the IP, you use the fully qualified domain name. Okay, you can also display hosts that respond to ping. You can display unreachable hosts. There's no hard bit. You display Unicode characters. These are some of the ways you can, reshape your report, and it will give you a beautiful report according to what you want. So this is an advanced setting for the scan. Default scan is just default scan. It's just describing scan. Okay, scan low bandwidth links and customize. You can customize how it scans for you, and we're not doing that today. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to the default. You go back to the default, which is the default path. It's just discovery. 30 simultaneous host maximum. 4 simultaneous check per host. Like you keep pinging them and checking them very much. 5-second network read timeout. And all of that. So that's basically what that is. And now we can go back to our scan report again, which you can of course print. Okay. But we will do another scan today. Okay. We will basically find another IP address to scan, because we have up to 16 IPs to scan with Nexus Essential. This one is not for sale. That's Nexus Essential. The one that's for sale, we're getting it, but we're going through the process to get it. It's expensive, but due to a nonprofit, there's a way out for us on that one. Just like we got you all the other stuff, we'll get you this one as well. So if you want to spew the report, all you have to do, click this, and it spews the report. Or you want to specify how you want the report, CSV like this, like a spreadsheet, or HTML. It looks a little bit more beautiful. Okay, you can generate a report, but we're not doing that right now. So we're going to cancel out and get out of that. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to new scan. I'm going to try to do a new scan. Again, you can also import Nexus database from somewhere. Okay, this is my scan again. We're going to do new scan, and it's going to give us an opportunity to see some of the things we can scan for. Let me click on new scan. So these are some of the vulnerabilities. This one is a discovery scan. Vulnerabilities, you can find vulnerabilities if you do one of these. You can do advanced scan, you can do dynamic scan, you can do malware scan, you can do mobile device scan, and etc. etc. But due to the nature of what we're doing, I think we can do application test. Okay, we can do this one. Scan for published and unknown web vulnerabilities using Nexus. All right, so I want us to do this, but I'm not sure what IP address we're going to use, but I will specify the name of the scan. You can just follow me how I'm going to do it. I'm going to specify the name of the scan. I'm going to go each one. Okay, I'm going to say cohort 4 scan. Let's just say that cohort 3 scan so I can remember. Okay, make sense? The first scan. Okay, any one of you can download this, but be careful. You might be breaking law if the site is not yours. You can break CFR 1029 and 1030, which are computer-based crimes. So you cannot touch a website that you don't have a get out of jail free card. If you do, you can get into a lot of trouble. So my scans, we go to my scan folder. You can change that if you want to. You just have to go to Nexus, wherever the file is, and make the necessary changes. So I want to scan each one, teach1.us to see what vulnerabilities are there. Okay, each one, teach1.us. That's what I want to scan. It's not a local scan. It's going to be an interesting scan. Okay. Let me make sure that's what I thought it was. Okay, that's what I thought it is. So now we've specified that. Let's go to assessment and see what we want to scan. We want to do a complex scan for a web vulnerability. So it's because we're traversing the web, so you have to be the best thing to do is to do a web vulnerability pretty much. As you guys can see, now that we've done this, it's going to take a little while to scan. We're going to click on launch. You can launch it. It will automatically save it once you launch it, but it will do the scan for you. All the other scans that I did took like 27 minutes to scan. I don't know how long this one will take because of what I'm scanning or where I had to go and get that scan. And a better scan will need some kind of credentials to get to some of the points that you wanted to scan, especially if there are APIs involved, which is not what we're doing today because I didn't want to expose our information, but we will plan well to do some of those in this program. Is there any question from anyone while we wait for the scan to go through? Is it making sense why there is SOC Operation Center? Is it making sense now? Sure. So once the result comes out, from henceforth, you're going to start remediating, making sure that the organization, whatever situation they are, they never go back to that. They will keep advancing and changing their trajectory moving forward. Like last time when we had dealt with the CIS, I mean, not CIS, I didn't mean to share this, I'm sorry guys. When we had dealt with, whatchamacallit, let me see if I can find a document. When we did, I think we did CSF version 2.0 is the new document that came up, Cybersecurity Framework 2.0. And I was able to get my hand across some of the documents in there. And I tried to work on some of it with our team members. And I shared a very important document. Let me find that document real quick while we wait for the scan. And I'm still waiting for anyone that might have any kind of question regarding what we're doing right now. Okay. Okay, CSF. All right, I think luckily, not luckily, good enough, I found it. Okay. So we had a spell document that we discovered. I have gone through this with you guys before, and I wouldn't mind going through it again. And I'll go ahead and share. Okay. So due to the fact that not all organizations has what it takes to pretty much use their attack surfaces, the CSF document from NIST, National Institute of Standard and Technology, were able to come up with this thing here, getting started with NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0. They came up with this document that introduces the CSF. They published it just not too long ago, 2014, but that's too long ago. First published in 2014, but the 2.0 is not too long ago. I think 2013, 2023, either 2023 or 2022, it just came out. And now, NIST introduced this document. Okay, it used to be very complex in the past, and now they did it in such a way it's straight to the point. It's understandable. If you look at the whole purpose of this document, you have you start from identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. What does it remind you of? Preparedness, identify, contain, eradicate, recover, lesson learned. So this is how their will look like. Okay. So when you look at the framework, you're gonna recognize the similarity to what we do. All right. So here you have the detect. The detect is the DE. Yeah. This one here is detect. Is the DE. So the whole thing is for you to find your baseline in 2 hours or less. So now you start off from that. You move down to something like this. But if you answer the question properly, you will notice that you will find a comfort zone in your organization where either it's desired or not desired, and you have to walk across that, walk to, solve that problem. So when you look at this here, you see that if you look at, maybe it starts from govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. When you look at all the same document over here, you see right in here you have govern. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework is in the middle. You have govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. All right. So I'd like for you guys to read this document. It's been shared with you guys. And this document here specifically shows you how a small business can use the lesson learned from here to safeguard their environment and have the protection that they need for their organization. So when you look at this here, you have the this is a company that specializes in helping people understand the NIST CSF. That's why I use their document. So here it will show you how to use the document. There's a summary for it. There is the main domains are here: govern, identify, protect, detect, recover, and respond. There's 5 of them. Okay, but they have other questions that you must answer to be able to gain the right insight out of it. In order to do that, you have to follow them. Okay. For instance, here, self-scoring, rank yourself. You have to be honest. Especially, you have to corroborate with a third party, like when you do a Nexus scan through a third-party company. And when you do an internal one and corroborate it with the third-party company, and then you can be truthful to yourself, because the scan have shown you your weaknesses. Where there are many other ways to understand and properly quantify and qualitatively identify the problems that you have in your environment, it is also imperative for us to understand that documents like this provide a path, a secure path to doing the right thing. There are different tiers to how you can score yourself. 0 is 0, is no point. And then there's tier 1, which is partial, tier 2, which is risk informed, and tier 3, which is repeatable. What do they mean by repeatable? That means that thing could be repeated across the organization. So if you have a way to secure your environment, is it repeatable? Have you reached that maturity? And also tier 4 is adaptive. Is this organizational wide? Is just in one department? So when you ask yourself this question, is the governance in my organization organizational wide? You give yourself a tier 4. If it's not, you give yourself what is proper for it, based on what you're reading here. Okay? So at the end of the day, when you give the attributes accurately, this thing will start to take shape. Okay? So there are many safeguards, or what we call control measures, that you have to answer some of these questions to cover. Like the governance is the first stage. It has these questionnaires down here. You have to cover them. Okay? So these questionnaires you have to cover till you get to the cybersecurity supply chain risk management. There's also oversight. There's policy. There's roles and responsibility. That's just for governance. This is just for governance, okay? You see all the questions you have to ask. Risk management objectives are established and agreed to the organizational stakeholder. These are what is established that you must be able to have in your environment. If you don't have it, you score your organization appropriately so that you can know where you stand in the scheme of things, okay? So after you put all those information for each of the domains, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. They have the govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Let's count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 6 of them. Okay? So once you do that, especially right here, right here, you give yourself the score. You score yourself the day you started it. This is basically qualitative. And 6 months later, after you've started working on the stuff you discovered in the vulnerability assessment, you will score yourself again. And 12 months later, you will score yourself, and so on and so forth. So the goal score will be the space you give yourself to be able to get to where you need to be to certify all those that is specified in the document. Okay? So once you do that, then you're good. At least once you do that, you'll see the shape, you'll see it take shape and it changes. And that's what we're looking for. Okay? Like for instance, here now, this, you see how this looks? If it's missing things here and there, it will now change the shape for it. So if you look at this here, there is like if you look at I'm trying to look for where there's incident mitigation, incident recovery plan, incident analysis. Okay, this is more like us. Response, you see response right here? Response is more like us. Identify is more like us. All these things here, you can change it whichever way you want in this document here, okay? You can customize and make it look the way you want it so you can get the interpret the meaning that you want for your organization. You can have green lines, just like we have over there, or not. Okay, you move the green line goes off. You can say horizontal, or you can say vertical. I think it has horizontal before, so it's still horizontal. So you can also change, like here, the govern is more like predominant, as you can see right here. And then you have detect. where's detect? Identify, sorry. And then you have protect. Yeah. You have dictate is over here. Yeah. So there's 6 of them. And if you go through those measures, you should have some kind of significant changes in your environment. So now let's go and see how well we've done. It's still scanning. It's still scanning. Oh my goodness. And see what report we're getting from this guy. Okay, it's finished scanning. So let's pull this report open and see. Can you guys see it? Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's pull it apart real quick. Now we pull it apart. We don't see a lot of vulnerabilities, but we see several vulnerabilities. There's a severity based in cumulative vulnerability score scale or scale score. I mean system score, vulnerability system score, I think. So what we did was application test, right? Local scanner. Scanner is a local scanner, but it scanned something somewhere else. So let's go in and take a look and see what we got. So here we have a couple of things that we should be looking at, especially where it says mixed. If you click on the mix, it should give you the impact. Okay, let's take a look. It says this was not found. I don't know why, but it showed it to us. So let's go back and see why it wasn't found. Maybe there's another way to take a look at that. Okay, let's look at the my scan. Why? All right, let's see. There had to be another way for us to look at it, because he gave us the report there. The report is there, man. He gave us a report, current report. He gave us this one. Finally, okay. Let's see. These are information on web application, sitemap, Nexus kind of information, standard Nexus, These are information that are in blue, no big deal. But what I want to see is what's inside this guy. That's what's important to me. Now I get to see it. That's what we want to see, guys. Now look at what we found was only medium thing. So what is that medium? Is it not host security?
HSTS missing.
HSTS missing from HTTPS. But can someone here who knows technology explain why that is there? Do you guys know what HSTS is? That's HTTPS security HTTP security. HTTP.
Okay, it tells browsers to only connect to sites using that are secure.
HSTS. Find out the meaning of HSTS. It means HTTPS, some transport layer security. HTTPS transport layer security. Find that out.
Yeah, I just what I got was why it is missing. But let me find out the meaning, the full meaning.
But you have to find the meaning why it's missing is because it tells other people to connect to browsers that are secure, but it's not aware that there are browsers that are secure that don't use that. Are you getting that?
Okay.
There are browsers that are secure that don't use that kind of technology. Remote web server is not enforcing HSTS.
It means HTTP strict transport security. Like
exactly.
It places a strict transport security.
There you go. HTTP strict transport security. That's what it is. All right. So now this is the output here. 200 OK. They went to the website. They got this. That's closed. HTTP server does not send the HTTP strict transport security header. He didn't send the header, but he uses something else. But he made it clear that this site is 443. There's HTTPS, right? But he's saying that it does not inform HTTPS because we have our own encryption system. Is it making sense now?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are like a step ahead of the technology.
Seems like it. So now there's a risk factor medium here. CBSS3 vector. You should pay attention to this. But at the end of the day, the severity is medium. Okay? You can raise an eyebrow could be raised on this based on the standard that's out there, but it could easily be fixed. So all the things in blue are informational. So 94.7% were good. Only one thing on our website. Imagine scanning other websites and comparing it to what you got from ours. Would you want to do that? You want to scan their website?
Yes, I want to do that.
So let's scan another, not necessarily a website. What we scanned was a like basically you can say a website, but what we scanned was actually
An application.
an application, a web server. We although we didn't get direct access to the web server, we were able to interact with the application and get a lot more information out of that application as far as what is running, what is behind it, and etc. etc. So if we were to run, let's say if we run another website, who knows what we could find. So these are a lesson for you guys to notice the importance of Security Operations Center. And if say we have a lot of problems here, that means we have to fix all these problems, remediate it, remove it from being the pain of the organization, and mitigate those we're not able to mitigate. So this is Nexus scan for you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will get to do many other things on it. But with that being said, I will be out of this, and we will head back to Security Plus, and that is how we're going to end tonight.